Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by World Series of Fighting Lightweight Justin Jaynes. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing well, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing good. Justin, you got a fight coming up June 21st at World Series of Fighting 10. How's training been going for the fight?
I tell you what, training's been going better than it ever has. I had some coaches come in, some of my old coaches from Michigan come in to make sure I'm prepped, ready for this fight. In better shape, stronger, sharper than I probably ever have been. I'm going to bring it come the 21st.
Now, you're originally from my neck of the woods here in Michigan, but then you moved out to Las Vegas to further your MMA career. I'm just curious, what led you to Las Vegas? Because I can't remember the guy's name. I hope I'm saying it right. Mike Confletti? I think that's how you say his name. I'm not 100% sure how you say his name. Was he the guy who set you up with Extreme Couture?
Yeah, he's definitely one of the primary people that did. The way it worked out is I was college roommates with Darren Cruikshank,
right,
who fights in the UFC now. He just had a big fight over Eric Koch.
Right.
So Darren came out here for a summer, and he ended up talking to me. Mike completely hooked Darren up with coming out here for the summer, and then Darren and Mike talked me into coming out for like a 2-week trial period, and I decided, after that 2-week trial period, I was going to do my internship, my college internship at Extreme Couture. Mike completely, introduced me to the right people. And then me and Ryan Couture kind of hit it off, and he got me an internship for the next summer. Then the following summer after that, I just worked at the gym. I coached wrestling, as a substitute. And then the following summer after that, I was working in a warehouse trying to figure out a way to get to Vegas. And John Hahn, who was the old manager at Extreme Couture, gave me a call and said they had a position open, but I needed to move that week. So the position opened up at Extreme. I called my boss at the warehouse, told him that I was done working there, and within 5 days I was driving to Las Vegas.
Just curious, how long have you been there?
I was a sophomore in college, so I'm 2 years out, about 5 years. That happened about 5 years ago. And I've been there. I moved to Vegas 2.5 years ago almost.
Oh, I see. Now, I'm just curious because there's a lot of Michigan flavor at Extreme Couture now. Elise Anderson, she trains there. Kevin Lee, who came over, he's also from Michigan. Are you...
Me and Elise are actually dating. She's sitting right next to me right now.
Oh. So you just answered my question for you. Are you the guy who's kind of spearheading this movement of Michigan people coming to Extreme Couture?
I would say I'm definitely one of them. Everyone knows this is where I train, and some of the best fighters are trained there. Evan Dunham are in Campman. Phil Brony was in yesterday. Randy Couture's in and out. Ryan Couture, so on and so forth. So I always offer my house for people to stay at. I post on Facebook who wants to come to Extreme Couture, from Michigan, and I usually cut deals for people from Michigan to stay at my house with me. And try and get people split the door. There's Clint Treadway, he's an up-and-coming amateur, he's 4-0. He came out from Michigan. Rocky can too. He came out from Michigan to do his he didn't do an internship, but he trained out here for a summer while he was in college. The list goes on of people I've brought introduced to people in the gym.
Oh, I see. Now, there was a stage where a lot of the big names from Extreme Couture were either, leaving the gym or retiring. Like, obviously, Randy Couture retired, and there was, some guys like a Gray Maynard, Tyson Griffin, all them left. Mike Pyle went to Syndicate. There was a lot of movement in the gym, but now it seems like there's a really solid group there. Is Extreme Couture back? Do you have all the big names back there? I mean, not the guys who were there once, but are the big names starting to come back to Extreme Couture?
It's definitely, it's a gym, you know what I mean? It's a roller coaster up and down. Some guys have a good training camp and they want to stay. Some guys have a bad training camp, they want to leave. But yeah, it's definitely coming back. We got Robert Foss on board, Dennis Davis. Eric Nickstick is now the manager. We made some small adjustments to put us in the right direction, and as they say, if you build it, they'll come, and they're definitely coming back for sure.
Now, you mentioned that you have a role on the team besides being a fighter. What is that role?
I run the kids program at the gym. I coach cardio kickboxing. I coach the boot camp class. I'm at the gym more than just about anybody, plus training full-time, too, getting ready for my WSOF debut here coming up. If I had to say a role, I'd have to say I'm, kind of an Iron Man at the gym. I'm constantly there, constantly training, constantly working.
Extreme Couture has a lot of great lightweights for you to work with. Obviously, the top names that come to mind are Ryan Couture, Evan Dunham, John Alessio, Kevin Lee. Those are the main guys I think of. off the top of my head when I think of Extreme Couture. How involved have they been in this training camp for you?
Ryan's been more involved than John. John just won his last Bellator fight.
Right.
So he's been taking some time off. Some of the bigger, 155ers also. Evan Dunham, who is been there through almost every camp. He's been dealing with some off and on injuries as of late. There's some up and coming guys that aren't there yet, but will be real soon. One of them's name is Mike Hobby. Mike Hobby, he's an up and coming. He's a tough enough 155 champ. He has 2 belts in 2 weight class. At 155. And he's been pushing the pace. Clint Treadway, again, 4-0 amateur. Just because these guys are amateurs doesn't, say that they're not as good as some pros. These guys can step up the pro level right now and definitely deliver. So those are some of the guys that have been really helping that camp.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ryan Couture fought your opponent at one point in time. He fought against Jimmy Spicuzza in Tough Enough. How much advice has he given you about this fight?
Jimmy's a totally different fighter than he was then. We're talking 5 years ago.
Right.
It's Jimmy has been training at Robert Drysdale's gym, and so I'm sure his wrestling has come around. He's always been a really good striker, straight down the pipe. Throwing big shots. He's explosive. He's fast, and overall he's just really tough too. So really, anything that Ryan got out of the fight against Jimmy, it'd be fighting a totally different person. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, Ryan can't really give me a good outlook on that. So he can't really give me advice on that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, have you ever crossed paths with Jimmy at all? Because, Vegas, it's like a big, small town when it comes to MMA, because there's so many gyms and there's a lot of people who cross-train with each other. Have you ever been in the same room as him?
Yeah, we trained together before. Right before, we had our downfall. I wouldn't even say a downfall. Even when we had our little break at the gym, Jimmy was coming in every now and then. I've sparred with him, probably 1 or 2 rounds. I really can't remember how the rounds went. But yeah, we've definitely crossed paths. Actually, I just saw him at the WSOF office the other day. We shake hands, we're cordial. We're both professional. This is business. There's no hate or anything. It's just straight business.
Mm-hmm. Is he someone who's been on your radar before in the past? Because obviously you guys fight in the same weight class, so I would assume that he's been somebody that you looked at as potential competition.
Yeah, it actually is, and it's funny you say that because before Robert Paulus committed to Extreme Couture, Jimmy Spicuzza was training with Robert, and I was training with Robert, and I always knew, I thought it was going to be on a big show. I knew me and Jimmy would always be on a big show, and when Robert committed, I asked him, I was like, hey, look, you're training with some potential people that I might be fighting down the road here real soon, like, what's going on, kind of thing. So I've always looked at this. There's a couple other guys I've always had on my radar that, could come up anytime, whether it's World Series of Fighting, Bellator, or even UFC down the road. There's always local guys that are always on my radar.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. World Series of Fighting, this is going to be your debut on June 21st. How long is the contract with them? Is this just a one-off that could develop into something, or is this a multiple-fight deal?
It's just a one-fight deal that could possibly develop into something down the road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it seems like... Right. And it seems like, a perfect fit, because obviously Ray Sefo, he's a coach at Extreme Couture, you're a coach at Extreme Couture, you're a fighter, he's a guy who runs a fight show. It makes sense for you to be a part of the organization. Did it take a little bit longer than you thought to be with World Series?
No, not really. I never really had a predicted time on it. I just fought a couple weeks ago, and so it's I don't like, okay, in 2 fights I'm going to do this organization, or 2 fights I'm going to do this organization. I just take fights as they come, and like I said, I just fought 3 weeks ago. I had a good showing, and the opportunity came, so I'm fighting 6 weeks later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, that fight you had 3 weeks ago was against John Schultz. You defeated him by TKO in the first round. I'm just curious, you hurt him with a leg kick and, kind of limited his mobility. You took him to the ground, and then later you let him up off the ground and continued the striking on the feet. But I'm just curious, why did you wait a little bit longer than what you did to let him up? Why didn't you just let him up and then go for the kill from there? Because obviously you had him hurt, and his mobility was just shot after that. So I'm just curious, why did you wait so long to go back to the feet?
It was poor judgment, to be honest. I knew John was tough going into the fight. His Sherdog record was 5-1, but we all know how Sherdog is. He's actually 7-1. He's a Bellator vet. I knew he had a bad front knee, and it was either the first or the second kick. He gave a hard wind, and it was just poor judgment. I didn't jump on him sooner. I took him down. The reason I took him down so quick is I thought I was going to be able to finish him. When he went down the first time, I thought I was going to be able to finish him there. Then he kind of just hung on. He's a pretty strong dude. And, I regathered my thoughts. I had a little adrenaline rush there for a second because, again, I thought I was going to finish him. Stood back up and finished him off. He actually, I'm not taking anything away from John Schultz. I want to give him all the credit in the world. He tore his ACL. Mm-hmm. One of the kicks tore his ACL, and that's why he fell down so hard. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like he had a bruised knee or a bruised leg or something from a leg kick. He actually has a serious injury. He's out for 6 months, minimal.
Right. It was a great fight. You showed a well-rounded skill set. Overall, were you pleased with the fight?
I didn't think it was going to get finished like that. I thought it was going to be go a little later on the rounds, and my cardio was up for it. But there's always stuff to work on. I feel that I had an adrenaline dump there, like after the first time he dropped, and I felt a little fatigued, and I need to work on that. It's not so much that my training needs to be adjusted; it's just I need to. I've had almost 50 fights now, and I still have an adrenaline dump suck, and I can't have that in this fight. I just need to go out there and be able to fight for 15 minutes straight with nonstop. So I'm pleased with the win, but not pleased with the overall performance.
Right. Obviously, the plan here is to get a win at World Series of Fighting 10, but beyond that, since this isn't a multiple fight deal with World Series of Fighting, is the plan to go back to TWC and defend the lightweight title?
Whatever comes. If they want to, if World Series wants to do an exclusive deal, I can sign with them. If they just want to do another one-fight deal, I just take every fight one at a time, and kind of go up that way. Like I said, they might, if I win, they might sign me. If I lose, they might, want nothing to do with me. Like I said, I just take one fight at a time.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kevin Lee, he had the TWC title when he defeated Eric Moon, and then he vacated it when he signed with the UFC, and then you fought John Schultz for the vacant title. So he had the title, vacated it, now you have the belt. Have you guys settled this out in the gym? Have you guys tried to see who the real TWC champion is?
No, man. Kevin's really tough. It's actually funny. Before UFC, me and Kevin were scheduled to fight for the belt, and then he moved to Vegas, and we talked, and he vacated the belt, and then I fought Schultz, and I took it. No, there's no ego there. Kevin's a really good dude. He's a really good training partner. He's really tough, good boxer. It's the way the training game goes. Sometimes he gets me, and sometimes I get him. There's no dick measuring there who should be the TWC champ.
Oh, I see. I was just teasing. I thought maybe he was like, you got my belt you're walking around with.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I was just teasing you a little bit. Now you brought in Kara Rowe to help you with your boxing for this camp. I'm just curious, will she be in your corner for this fight? And also, if she is in your corner, besides her, who else will be cornering you for this fight?
Kara Rowe actually left last night. She came into town for 12 days to get down, and everyone's like, another wrestler is going to turn to a boxer, and I just want to get that straight. I'm a wrestler by root. I'm still a wrestler. Kara come in to work my footwork, get my footwork down, and throw crisper punches. I'm not a boxer. I'm not training to be a boxer. I'm an MMA fighter. All right, so when people are like, he's bringing a boxing coach, he's going to do, I'm not going to say any names, but he's going to do what this wrestler did. Now he thinks he's a boxer. I don't think I'm a boxer. I'm a wrestler. Kara's a fantastic coach. She takes me to the next level with my hands and my footwork, set up my takedowns, and set up my ground and pound to add in everything else. Kara won't be cornering me. She has a slew of fighters back in Michigan that are fighting the same night. Mm-hmm. And so she's obligated to be back with them, which is okay. I still have Robert Falls, Dennis Davis, Eric Nixick. They'll all be in my corner for the 21st.
Oh, I see. You had a very long amateur career, 31 wins, 14 losses, and 2 no contests. That's a lot of fights for an amateur fighter. In this day and age, a lot of guys are trying to fight 4 or 5 times as an amateur and then jump immediately to becoming a pro. But you took a different route and fought a ton of times. So I'm just curious, why so many fights and why so long as an amateur?
I wrestled for the NCAA at Olivet College, And as a wrestler or as an athlete in the NCAA, you cannot turn pro in anything. Plus, I have some rough edges I need to move on. I just like to fight. I like to compete. It's not, it was just, I'd show up just to compete. I like to compete. That's why if there was an opening, if I saw an opening for a short notice fight, I'd jump on it, whether I was in shape or out of shape. I just kind of show up, blow up,
Right. Right. Now, you won a lot of amateur titles. I'm just curious, there's a lot of guys out there who don't really, take pride in having many of these titles. They just kind of, once they turn pro, they kind of leave them by the wayside. Where are your belts? Are they on display somewhere, or are they in somebody's basement somewhere?
They're probably in a box in my basement somewhere. Right. The belts as an amateur, it's great. Even as a pro, once I won a belt, I give it to my dad or give it to my mom, and that'd be the last I saw of it. It's not that I'm not proud that I won it, but the belt's just a trophy. I see guys wearing their belts out, at the bar and here and there, and it's just like, man, it just looks corny, and you're advertising yourself in a poor way. I think after the belt's won, hang it up and go for your next goal. It's great to win, but I think once it's achieved, set your eyes on something else, whether it's defending it or trying to get another one. I tried to collect as many as I could as an amateur, and that was that. Like I said, after I won it, I gave it to my dad or my mom, and they did whatever they want with it. I think my dad has them on his spare bedroom somewhere.
Right. I see. James Lee has been a very big part of your career. He was the guy who was training you at the time your amateur career really took off, and you started to gain a lot of momentum as an amateur. I'm just curious, how often do you talk to him? Obviously, he cornered you for your last fight, but I'm just curious, how often are you in contact with James still, even though he's in Michigan and you're in Vegas?
Me and James talk probably on a bi-weekly basis, maybe a weekly basis. James has influenced me a lot. My original trainer, the person that got me involved in MMA, his name was Andy McLaughlin.
Right.
That guy moved over and started training with Vance Swerden and Brendan Seguin.
Right.
And then me and James started talking a little bit. And, for personal reasons, I started training more with James. And, we really developed a family stable. James is the godfather of my son. He's trained me for free. He's always cornered me for free. Even if I offered him money, he won't take it. He won't accept it. James is just one of those genuine guys that, wants to see people like me do real well and do anything they can to achieve that. James is family to me. When he comes to Vegas, he came just recently, I'll go and see him, and when I come home, I try and make it a point to get to see him too. We don't get to train together very much anymore like we used to, just because obviously a 2,000-mile difference is sometimes tough to overcome. But James is, he always holds a special place in my heart. I love the guy to death, and I'd do anything for him.
I'm just curious, how did you get your nickname Guitar Hero?
They really need to take that off Sure Dog. That was from my sophomore, maybe freshman year of college. We were just at a frat house drinking, having a good time, and they're playing Guitar Hero, on the TV, and we're just drinking, having a good time. Dude, you need to walk out to this, strap up your guitar and play a song and pretend to jam to it the whole way after the ring. And so I did it 5 or 6 times. I did it for Tough Enough a couple times. I did it for, XCC a couple times. I just did it maybe a half dozen, 10 times maybe. And for whatever reason, Sure Dog put it up there, and everyone asked me that, but that's not my nickname. I don't have a nickname as a pro. That was just a small gimmick I used to draw fans.
I see. So when you walk out at World Series of Fighting 10, you won't have that mini guitar, and you also won't have that shirt that says, "I shaved my balls for this."
I wish I could have that shirt that says, "Shaved my balls." It's good advertisement. Nobody ever. It's good advertisement for at least when you're single. That's why I don't wear it anymore because I have a girlfriend. But no, unfortunately, I won't be able to. They don't. Me and Ralph Cook, had some words about that after a Tough Enough show. And I've only worn it for King of the Cage since, so now with World Series I won't have it, unfortunately. Oh. Even though I think it felt really good. Yeah,
that's a great shirt. Very showman of you to have that on there. That's a good marketing tool.
It's original, when I develop my T-shirts, everyone has their cool T-shirt that says mostly things about them, okay, I trained at this gym, here's my last name, blah blah blah. When I make a T-shirt or wear a T-shirt out to a fight, it's I want it to be I want someone not to know who I am and be like, "Who I'd wear that T-shirt."
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't see guys wearing people they don't know's T-shirt just because. But something like that, people look at that and be like, "I don't know who Justin Jaynes is." Has his name on the back, but I'll wear that shirt anyway just because it's funny.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. War Machine, he said the same thing like that. You know, no one really cares about having your name and, like, you know, skulls and chains and stuff. No one's going to wear that unless they know who you are or are a big fan of the sport. But you can make a shirt with something like this, and you don't even have to be an MMA fan, and you'd want to buy that.
Exactly. My last shirt, it was written in, like, the old school Star Wars lettering. It said, "Trust me, I'm a Jedi." You know, and that was big, too. I got a lot of hate Facebook vibes off that, just because even if you're not an MMA fan, you like Star Wars, it's cool, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. On one website, I can't remember the name of it, it's one of those databases, it says that your fighting style is Jedi Master. Is that your fighting style?
Yeah, that's what I put. Again, just, you know, something original, something different. You know, everyone's always, I'm a wrestler, I'm a street fighter, I'm a Jedi Master. You know, it's what I do. People call me the Jedi sometimes because it goes well with my name, Justin Jedi Jaynes, but I haven't really stuck it yet. You know, but I think it's funny. It's a funny gimmick, and, you know, it's original.
Right. Definitely. Justin, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
I want to thank World's Best, Carol, coming out and helping me with this camp. I want to thank Robert Fawless, you know, for all the hard work he's put in this year. Dennis Davis, Eric Nixick. I want to thank James Lee. I want to thank Self Farm Equipment. They've been helping me out the last probably all year. Proven Force Supplement Company. Animals Buffalo Bar. I had my after party at the bar a while back. Joe Battaglia. Petey, the owner of TWC, for giving me the opportunities. Big John. Let me think. There's Fit to Death Industries. And Elise wants me to thank her. I don't really know what she thanks me for, so that's about it.
Justin, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it, and best of luck coming up on June 21st.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Have a good day.